What's up, Lorehounds? It's Cooper here, actually inside the BlizzCon after party at PAX East. I'm here with Yong Woo, senior producer on Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm. So you guys just announced the latest adventure play for Hearthstone, and we're actually going back into Blackrock. What is the big announcement that you guys got us all pumped up for this morning?
Well, so ever since we made the Curse of Naxxramas, we really enjoyed making our first adventure, and we were really excited by how our players were enjoying the content. So we're really excited to announce our second adventure. Basically, you'll be going back to Blackrock Mountain, and as some of our players who play World of Warcraft may know, it's a mountain where these two evil supervillains live, and they're kind of like neighbors with each other. So you have Ragnaros, who I think all of our players are familiar with because he's a very popular 8 mana cost card that everybody loves to play. So you have Ragnaros on the one hand, the fire elemental, and then you have Nefarian, who is like this dragon villain. And so they're like both living in this mountain, and like one's kind of living in the basement, the other guy's like living upstairs, and they're really like feuding with each other. So the story begins when Nefarian invites you to the Blackrock Mountain to basically kick Ragnaros, out of the building because he doesn't like him as a tenant. So,
hasn't been paying his rent,
or whatever their like super evil villain fights are. So, in World of Warcraft, like Blackrock Mountain was a very like epic, dangerous place. But again, just like we did with Naxxramas, we're really excited to put our own Hearthstone charm and spin to it. So, it's going to be really like exciting adventure, but it'll also be a more lighthearted and fun as you kind of travel through Blackrock and kind of going through all these adventures.
Yeah, and actually, obviously, if you do play World of Warcraft still, we're kind of back in that scenario and stuff is around.
In my day, like I was in 40-man raid and molten core or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
So are we gonna, the first things first. I think a lot of people love the new boards, right? Yeah. So Curse of Naxxramas had a lot of its own unique things. Then we had Goblin versus Gnomes, which had some crazy stuff. You launched a rocket and whatnot.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah.
What do we have coming for Blackrock Mountain?
Oh man, so our one of our tech artists, Zwicker, on the team, he kind of like put his foot down and he's like, Young, like, I always tell you I want to spend like X amount of time on this board, and like this is the one I really like, want to make it really, really awesome. I want this new tech, and we're like, okay, Zwick, like we're gonna give you the time you need. And the tech.
So wait, you made new tech just for the board, for the.
One thing we did, and this is really cool. You may have noticed while you're playing is so there's a lot of magma in the Blackrock Mountain. Everything is hot and molten, and you're going underground. And so we created this new technology to make this like awesome glow and bloom. So like all the like lights kind of like organically glow out of the magma. Like it sounds a little technical, but when you look at it, you're like, oh my God, that magma
just pops.
Awesome. Yeah. So so you got that going on. There are just various elements. Like you can kind of like there is Ragnaros' hammer that's like kind of hanging out in the upper left-hand corner, and kind of you can mess with it, and like a lot of like secret things pop out of the magma underneath.
Some little. Leroy Jenkins action going on in there.
Yeah, if you remember that fight, there are just a bunch of eggs that you can kind of like mess around with, and like dragons might pop out of them. So it's really like full of a lot of like fun surprises that I think our players came to expect from our boards. So I'm really excited about this one.
You guys are actually putting out content for Hearthstone super quick at this point, at this pace. Certainly as quick as the WoW players would love. I mean, we're getting all this content, and sure, some of it is, it's been in the Warcraft lore for a while, but is this the pace we can really expect for adventure play to expansion to adventure, and then back again?
I mean, to us the most important thing is how is it affecting our players, and really like I think they're kind of like these two opposing forces. One is like on the one hand you're like, oh, I want more content, more cards, and the other hand it's like, wow, there are just too many cards. Like like I haven't really kind of learned like a new batch, and the new ones are coming in, so I can feel overwhelmed. So to us that is the biggest focus. Like the cards have been in the system. Have people kind of figured out the meta? Like, are they starting to kind of get bored with what's out there and are itching for more? Have they really processed what's already out there? Okay, like we really feel like this is a good time for players to have like fresh content and shake things up again. And yeah, I think like next month is going to be the right time, given like where we're at currently.
So, and again, that mix is, doing a full expansion and then doing the adventure, because the adventure plays, they only have about, it's a solo mission, basically. You're playing against a computer. And then you get, 20 plus cards, depending if you do all the class challenges and stuff like that. Whereas Goblins versus Gnome is like 120 or something.
Yeah, our expansions have significantly more cards. The thing we learned about Naxxramas, there are two things. So one is that what we realize is that if we craft the cards carefully, we can have very few cards fundamentally alter the existing way people play, what we call the meta. And so, obviously, if you can introduce like 130 new cards, it will shake things up more. But what we discovered is that if we really concentrate like new concepts and fun into even 31 cards that's available in Blackrock Mountain, we can make a huge difference. So we have a lot of like cool new mechanics that we're really excited to share with the players in Blackrock Mountain. So for instance, for the longest time,
preempting my question.
Oh my God! I'm just like off the rails. I'm going straight. So ask your question.
So at Curse Naxxramas, we really dove into the whole death rattle theme.
Yeah, what's new?
What is coming from Blackrock Mountain?
Yes, totally. So in Curse of Naxxramas, it was like kind of the death and undeath, so like death rattle really made sense. In Goblins versus Gnomes, it was really about their crazy new inventions, so we have a lot of things around mechanical minions, so we had a new minion type called Mech. For Blackrock Mountain, we really thought about, like, what are some cool ways that players want to play, like cool fantasies people have that maybe they can't really practically fulfill yet. And one of the coolest, like, creatures in like fantasy lore are dragons. So we already have like a lot of really cool dragons in the game. We have like Ysera, like you play her and portals open to the dreamland and you get like crazy cards. You got Onyxia, you play her and all her like dragon whelps like just enter the game. Like so we have a lot of dragons that are like really powerful and iconic and like exciting to play, but a lot of them are very expensive to play, and they don't necessarily find their way into more competitive decks. So with Blackrock Mountain, we kind of thought about what are ways to kind of make dragons more relevant and more viable. So we have this new concept where if you have a dragon in your hand when you play something, certain actions trigger. So the one card that we have that like demonstrates this new mechanic is that is Blackwing Technician. So the card says it's 3 mana and 2/4, but if you have a dragon in your hand, it gets +1/+1. So 3 mana.
So is that out on the playing field and in the hand?
It's only when it's in your hand. So it's really interesting. Like it sounds simple, and which is great because it's easy to understand. Okay, if you have a dragon in your hand when you play this happens. So if you have a dragon in your hand when you play it, for 3 mana you get a 3/5 minion. Really good. But like tactically, it does a lot of interesting things. So you can afford to have more expensive dragons in your hand because although they're unplayable until later, they're doing cool things for you now. Awesome. The other thing is from the other player's perspective. So it's like turn 3, you're not really sure what they're doing. They play a Blackwing Technician, and it transforms into a 3/4. Like, holy moly, the dude has like some kind of dragon. And so it's like, oh, maybe I should save my, polymorph, or, maybe I should, save my assassinate, or like figure out some other way to deal with like a big minion. Or maybe I want to play my mirror image at the right time. So to us, like, this type of mechanic that's like easy to understand, but like then has these like subtle, interesting strategic depth to it.
You just keep seeing all the connections as you're playing. Like, it's like, oh, that's super basic. Oh, but this. Oh, and then that.
Like, oh, wow, you have a dragon in your hand. Yeah, exactly. And so some people have been asking like, oh, well, then like, is this entire set going to be just dragons? And like I was saying, there's a ton of dragons that are already in the game. So if, for your viewers, like it's a cool exercise. Just go to the collection manager, maybe bring up the crafting mode and just type dragon, and you're like, oh wow, that's a dragon. Like we have like the fairy dragon that's like really cheap. It's like 2 mana, 3/2. That's untargetable, and things like that. So what we hope to do, one of the aspects we want to push with Blackrock Mountain is, wow, now that dragons are relevant, what dragons already exist, and then what cool things can I do with it?
A little bit of mixing the old cards with the new, and then formulating new plans.
Yeah, and to me, that's always what's exciting, is not only do you get excited about these new cards that we're putting in the game, but that these cards make you go back to your collection and really think, oh wow, like what else can I do with what we already have? What can I do with cards that I thought wasn't so good? Maybe they're good now. And like that exploration to me is like one of the most exciting things about collectible card games.
Dive back into that old box.
Yeah, exactly.
So we know that the adventure is going to come out. It's going to be, you know, kind of built around the same, from Curse of Noxoramus, the same kind of wings and the costs and everything and how you purchase it. But you know, you mentioned Nefarian's kind of asking us to come in and you know, kick out Ragnaros. But really, what's going on there? Like, what's the lore behind that? Because we could kill either of them, but Ragnaros is actually a card, and so how is this all playing out?
Well, I mean, you know, to me, kind of like the logic of like some of the storyline in Hearthstone can be kind of like breaking that
fourth wall
a little bit. So like, yeah, like what does it mean when like Ragnaros is fighting Ragnaros? So it's like Ragnaroception or something, right? But I don't think that's going to be really too like that jarring. I think you're going to be like kind of going on this like really fun romp like through Blackrock Mountain, taking care of business, and a lot of like really fun and exciting but also wacky things are going to happen, and you're just going to have a really good time.
All right, I'm just disappointed that we won't see Mr. Bigglesworth. So, anyways, thanks so much. We can't wait to check it out. So we're going to see it in April.
Yes.
All right, thanks so much.
Thank you so much for coming. It was really fun to talk to you.